Welcome to a sunny edition of The Bones with some glitter and some advertising. I'm Craig McLeod, and nice to see you guys all here today.
Hello.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Summer's here.
Finally.
Summer's here for at least an hour or two.
So, for at least an hour, yes.
Unless another El Nino or Nino or Alberto or whatever it's called, where a shit ton of rain comes down. Who knows?
And there's Ian. There was a cyclone called Ian that was contributing, and something called a Indian Ocean dipole.
Right. Does that mean you dipe in the hole, or?
Oh, no, I've got no idea. I think it's something about Polish people dying. I'm not sure.
Anywho, let's not speak too much about Polish people dying and get stuck into the bones of advertising. This week, I'd like to talk about LA, a little place that I absolutely love. Well, maybe not so little, but let's just crack on and take a quick look at this. What do you think?
Exterior, Los Angeles. Visitors break into a big musical number. You have another idea? Cut to a relaxing spa. Not a spa, but fun. Cut to nature and wildlife. Not that type of wildlife. This script is taking a turn.
I'll have mine con piña, por favor.
Ah, the perfect ending.
Okay, I'm going to start today with JD, who normally comes in with that shit. What do you got for us today?
That shit.
Yes.
There's two things about this that I really like, and there's a whole lot of stuff about this that I think is lazy. So I really liked the animation. I thought there was something really kind of interesting that they were going in a kind of interesting place there. I really kind of, that really had my attention for about 2 seconds. I really liked the background, like the music and I like the way that all kind of fitted in. I thought that was really good. But it seemed like, to me, another tourism ad. And LA, I'm with you, Craig. I think LA is probably one of the few places on earth that it's one of the best places, the most fun you can have with your clothes on, I think, if you go to the right places in LA. And it's sunny. It's sunny, and it's like there's fun to be had around every corner.
Yeah.
It just seems like here's a postcard of Hollywood. Here's a postcard of this. Here's a postcard. And it's like, that's what every single destination does. And I think they've let themselves down. It doesn't have any of the LA vibe about it, except for those couple of bits of animation. I thought, oh, here we go. Here's something. And then it just became another tourism ad. I was a bit disappointed. There you go.
I was right on the money. It's shit. Girls, what have you got to say?
I liked it. I'm going to go against the grain. I know.
What do you mean?
In comparison to last week's tourism ad, I feel like it reminded me of what it felt like to be in LA. Like, I think it captured kind of the essence of the culture and the kind of street vibe and the dirtiness of it. And I really enjoyed the animation aspect. Very similar to, I don't know if you remember.
Sahi or?
No, I was going to say Chup Chups. The Chup Chup ad where the graphics go up onto the bus and stuff. I thought it sold the idea of what it's like to be in LA quite well. Or for me, it reminded me of my time that I spent in LA. The only thing that didn't sit well with me was the voiceover. I couldn't kind of understand some of the things that she was saying. I was like, what? Is this English? What are you saying? So that was probably the bit that missed it for me. But I think in the few seconds that the ad kind of took up of my time, it pinged the memories of what I loved there and enticed me in a way to go back. But yeah, it was probably the VO was the part that fell short for me. And I think in comparison to what we looked at last week, the production value between the two of them would be polar. You know, this could potentially come off and be created on a budget, whereas last week's was, you know, tens of millions of dollars. And I think this was a better use of money. That's my thought.
Woo! Okay, Gabaloo, what about you?
Well, I've not been to LA, so
Make you want to go?
And it's so funny that you said that, Caro, that you're like, it reminds me of my time in LA, because that's not how I envision it. And it does not make me want to go there at all. So yeah, I'm with JD. It was probably a miss for me, just because from a pure consumer point of view, after watching that, it's probably one of the last places that I'd actually want to visit, especially in the States as well. I think there are so many other, well, based on my knowledge, there are other places that I would much prefer to spend time than in the concrete Hollywood next to the beach. And then the other thing that I felt a bit nauseous watching it. I felt like the animation, when we were going from one thing and then sort of going down and bit psychedelic, I was feeling a bit like having vertigo over here. So
yeah, right.
That's kind of what it's like to be in LA. If that is the vibe, you're just like, well, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. How did I end up on Santa Monica Beach? I thought,
what am I doing? Where are my clothes? I'm confused.
Oh, where am I?
No, really.
I was on that holiday, I think.
Whoa, there we go. What about that, hey? Okay, for me, I saw it with such interest to begin with. I'm like, surely this is going to be like an absolute ripper. I'm waiting. It starts and I'm like, okay, we've got a bit of camera motion. I'm like, it's good. We hit the animation. I'm going, oh, where'd we go? And then we kind of just went with the vanilla version. I'm like, where was the budget? Did you spend it all on defending someone or something? What happened? Did you put someone in jail and they came out and they had to sue you? What do you mean? I was just looking at it going,
I don't know what happens on your television shoots, Craig, but just what a great little sideways turn that took.
There was no money in the budget, so that's all we could muster up. Having been there, I felt it gave me no sense of what it's actually like. I looked at it and just thought, really? Where's all the fun little spots and the beautiful little restaurants and the rooftop stuff? Where's all the stuff? I just got lost. I didn't feel it really resonated with me. I did think it was an under-budgeted production. I thought it was shot on an iPhone, perhaps, or that's the way the movement maybe did with one of those sort of fisheye lenses over the top. So it was just kind of done pretty skinny, maybe done for social, and then they've ended up turning it out as a mainstream. But I don't reckon it's going to work. That's probably the primary thing I see from it. I can't see Aussies going, get me backpack, get me there right now.
It's interesting though. They probably have made it for social. They certainly made it with social in mind. There's a whole lot of little bits and pieces in there that you can see would go to different markets.
Yeah, I think even the people that they hear, like Steve Aoki and stuff in there, speaks to a very particular audience.
Yeah.
I think what they were selling is very much that audience. It's not families with children going over there. They really kind of sold the party aspect, I think, of LA, and the drinking and the friend, going over with friends or going on the gap year kind of idea seemed to be what was underpinning it.
I think there's something in that. I think there's a lot of I'm starting to see, and it may just be because my son is just about to go into he's finishing year 12 this week. And so everyone is starting to look at what they're doing next year. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to see feeds come in from Visit Croatia and, all that kind of stuff, which is, I wouldn't have thought I'd mentioned Croatia, but Google's listening. So
always.
Google's listening, which brings me to something very, very interesting. I do believe we're up to and it sounds like someone has just stolen some more data and pumped it out on the old internet. Gabs, give us a little touchdown on what have we got here?
Data.
Data. Yeah, it's just a saga that's not stopping. It's like one after another, each of these big companies just data security is just being hacked by cyber criminals. And right now, obviously, it's Medibank is probably the biggest one. We had Optus a little while back. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the news this morning. I'm not sure what the situation is right at this very second.
They dropped the data today.
They did a little sneak peek of
They
some
did.
Yeah,
because I think they were trying to call bluff, like Medibank were trying to call bluff.
They were.
and they've
Medibank
come
were
out and
refusing to give in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't seen, but they said it's more than names and contact information. It's medical
records.
Yeah.
The hard bit, I think, is it was interesting. They were talking to a data security guy on one of those little rabbit holes I disappear down into every now and then, and they were saying that this sort of stuff is going to happen all the time. There's no, like, there are people who are, like, as much as they try and protect all of the data and information, there are people who find ways of getting into it because that's the game.
It is the game. And what do we expect? Like, we've pushed everything online, and like there've been big companies have been data mining for decade, at least a decade, if not longer. So it's all sitting there, and like you say, JD, it's a game. It's these hackers, figuring out how they can be kind of best in class and get to the most sacred, encrypted information. So I think, like you said as well, Gabs, it's just going to happen more and more often. I think they were saying on the radio that 1 in 3 Australians has had their data compromised in only the past few months.
Yeah.
So it's
No, it's frightening. Like,
and off the back of Optus, an article came across my desk this morning or last night about a Sydney teenager. Have you guys seen that one?
No.
the one who was supposed to have taken it, like he's been taken into, he's been asked to assist police with their investigations.
Yeah, well, he pled guilty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he pled guilty to blackmailing nearly 100 of the people whose details were released from the Optus hack, data hack, and yeah, he blackmailed them into giving him money. So there's very, very real repercussions. I remember years back when we opted into things like social media and stuff, we didn't even think about our data. It wasn't even like a thought in our mind. And now fast forward to where we are now, the repercussions of it can be huge. So,
and the ownership that's been passed over, like you say, Gabs, you know, how much Facebook actually owns of your data. It's no longer yours. So yeah, it's one thing to be very mindful of, I think, going forward on how easily you just give out your email address or your phone number, or, you know, sign up for this, sign up for that. You don't kind of think about it twice, but perhaps this is the shock to the system that everyone needs to, you know, maybe be a bit more savvy.
Absolutely. And I think another point to raise on that one, Gabs, you also highlighted the incident with Business Chicks that happened. So they've gone through a process, and I'm not sure whether it was a membership issue or whatever it was that precipitated this action, but they basically told the entire staff, you're being made redundant a couple of months out from Christmas or whatever the date was exactly. And ultimately, someone that had the handle or had access to the account, we believe, and again, it's alleged, that they jumped on and then posted a whole lot of information about the fact that it's happened, and they've just gone out looking for 10,000 subscriptions, and that money's only being used to fuel the founder's lifestyle. It's actually not going to be used for anything that the organization was set up for. And that's gone out on the actual Business Chicks Instagram. So I think not knowing or understanding who actually has access to your stuff before you pull the trigger on stuff like that, you are completely exposed, because there's nothing worse than a scorned employee.
Yeah.
Well, when it first happened, I think it happened about 2 weeks ago, Nikki called me, one of our account managers called me. She's like, oh my gosh, have you seen what's happening on Business Chicks? Like, it was all the rage and I jumped on, and we both, like, jaws fell to the floor. Worst like PR crisis for the founder, Emma Isaacs, and like just incredibly embarrassing. And we both said to each other, first thing you would do before you even announce the redundancies is make sure that no one had access to that Instagram channel. Like, you don't know how people are going to react.
Just a little fire. You got to make sure that you've got the fireman hat on and you just lock the world down before you do any of that stuff. But
I don't think a lot of businesses work quite as professionally as we believe they do.
I think they don't.
I think there's a lot of people who are just, it's run on optimism and hope. That's
Well,
what's
at the end of the day, like, we're all human. No matter how big of the business that you work for, you're only as good as your weakest link, in a sense. So, and everyone's, I mean, got someone who's the head of data and they make one little mistake, or everyone's human. No one's above the rest of us, I guess. So
yeah.
I think the thing that's going to hurt the most is the comment, and I'm not sure how factual it is, but the comment that they've just gone out to 10,000 people looking for memberships, and they're just about to, the organization's going to stay open, but ultimately they're saying you've been scammed. I think that is going to play enormously out in the narrative that goes around all of this. So I think not being able to manage that and protect yourself from that sort of thing, because I assume that's not the case, but that would be something that's more disgruntled. I'm assuming they're proposing to do things, slightly differently, whether it's online or how they're proposing to do it. But nonetheless, I mean, that's extraordinary.
It'll be an interesting watch and see as well. Like, if that is the case, the ability to hold someone accountable on, a public platform as well. Like, it really makes you consider what you say, who you say it to, and kind of how your actions can very easily be exposed. So
I think it goes to just kind of on an aligned note, it shows the trouble of scaling. I think once you actually get to a point that the people who make businesses successful aren't necessarily the same sort of people you need to kind of keep running and keep a steady growth. And so have you seen that that red cycle plastics recycling thing?
I saw that this morning.
Tits up. Yeah.
They got busted. So, Red Cycle, the ones that do soft plastics?
Yes. Oh, I heard that.
Woolies and Coles have pulled them because they've been busted just stockpiling all of the rubbish just in a warehouse and not actually doing anything about it.
Because the people that they then hand it over to have had, like, one of the recycling plants that he burnt down, and so no one was prepared for 7,000 tons of soft plastics every year to go somewhere. Like, it started with all the best intentions in the world and they were handling it. And then all of a sudden it's caught on, and there's, what did they say? 5 million tons of plastics a day or a week. Yeah. 5 million tons of soft plastic a week we produce. Wow. And we wonder, why did they go broke? It's like, we can't handle it.
No shit. And again, being held accountable. Someone caught on to it. I mean, they've committed not doing what you should be doing, and then it's just bang in the news, done.
Yep. And they've committed to carrying on. But I think something like the business chicks thing will just be, I mean, there's every chance that they've come up to that point of, how do we scale from here? How do we maintain the business when we've got this structure that's high, that's got all of these people that are working for us? 10% of them are doing 50% of the work. Where are the rest going? What's happening? I don't know. You're too removed. So, and then public relations disaster just around the corner.
Well, upping the tone just a little, it's time for Harmonics. Today, we are in the faithful hands of...
Is me.
Caroline Third-Schnapple.
I'm not going to hum, though. I'm just going back to Old Faithful of taglines.
Line.
So, let's play Whose Tagline Is It Anyway?
Tagline is it anyway?
All right, I'm going to give you a tagline. You're going to tell me what the brand is.
Okay.
Competition. Stars are awarded for correct answers. First in, best dressed.
Okay.
All right, let's go for it. We'll start off easy. Finger licking good.
KFC.
I reckon that's a replay. Oh, maybe.
Go back to the
Puddle.
tape. Go back
check
to the
the tape.
tape.
Maybe. All right.
I'm using the buzzer. I'm using a buzzer and then
No
saying
bother.
it.
Just
I'm
yell
gonna
your
buzzer.
thing out, my boy.
Just yell it out.
Yell it out like we always do.
All right,
Usually
next.
10 out of 9. So
All right, next one. The original. If your grandfather hadn't worn it, you wouldn't exist.
If your grandfather hadn't worn it,
Worn it,
R.M. Williams?
you
wouldn't exist.
You wouldn't exist.
Levi.
No, not yet.
R.M. Williams.
No.
But it's a clothing
I
brand.
think it's not something. No, it's not a clothing brand.
Oh,
We're not talking about clothing brands. We just had KFC.
Original.
The
Old
original.
Spice. Old
Yes,
Spice.
Gabalicious.
oh,
Ah.
see,
job.
completely out of my radar. Hmm.
There are some things money can't buy.
But everything else is must
Must card.
Yes, JD. Three-way tie. The ultimate driving machine.
BMW.
BMW.
Oh, it's tight, boys. All right. Move the way you want.
Oh, move the
Not
way.
as well known as I would expect. I was like,
Is that Lyft?
no.
Uber?
it's not
Is it a
Lyft.
car brand?
Associated with
Uber.
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 Said Uber. Just said
Yeah.
Uber before. Just
Oh, did
then.
you? Oh, sorry.
Just then.
No, I
Just
think we said it.
before.
You're going to check the tape on that one too, because I reckon we said it exactly the same
I said
time.
Lyft.
You.
I said
Oh,
Lyft. and
sorry,
then I said
boys. I didn't
Uber.
hear you.
Okay, well, probably Johnny.
All right.
Probably Johnny.
I said Uber, I did.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Pop. Pop.
Rice bubbles.
Rice bubbles.
Rice
Yeah. I
bubbles.
was going to
Yeah.
say Cocoa Pop. But it's
Did
not
Johnny get it or did I get it?
Cocoa Pops too.
I don't know.
No.
Dad's is just like pop, pop,
No.
pop.
No,
I
rice
think I got
bubbles.
that too, JD. Did I get it or did you get it?
No, you did it. You got it.
For God's
Rice
sake.
bubbles.
I'm fucking
Two left. I think you
winning.
might be winning, Pot. All right, two left. Belong anywhere.
Belong. Internet.
No.
Belong anywhere. Airbnb.
Yes, JD. All right, the last one. This could be the tiebreaker, maybe.
Just make it a real easy one.
Don't live life without it.
No
A
idea.
Visa card.
Nope.
Don't live life without it.
American Express.
Yes, JD.
No, that's don't leave home without it.
No, it's don't live life. Live
Oh,
life. I think JD could have won.
that sucks
Right.
balls. All the very best. It's another edition of the Bones of Advertising. I want you all to go and get, because I don't know if I didn't win that one or not. I'm very, very frustrated at the
Maybe we'll
moment.
just give him the sympathy win. We'll give you the sympathy win, Paul.
Just cover him with stars now. Just like,